I fail to understand why people don't take the time to know who you are, because you'll always be, and then you are associated with what you do. White people always used to call me, are you as cheeky at home? Are you as cheeky as you are on television? I was like, cheeky? What do you mean by cheeky? You mean that woman? Oh, no, I'm not that woman. And then you come across black people and they go, wah, something. And I'm thinking, I'm walking with my children and now I must entertain, I must make you laugh. It's strange, but Donna enjoys, those are permanent names.
What's
Thokozile. Some people call me Toxin, some people call me Tox, but I still prefer Thoko. I identify as a mother, as an artist, as a community development officer, as director, and as an adapter. Currently, my role is I am the advisor to the CEO of Artscape Theatre Center on transformational and development segments. Whew. I think my children keep me alive. I think the community keeps me alive. I think I'm alive because I'm a doer. I want to do things. I want to see things happen, and I'm alive because each project that I've done and dusted gives me strength to go to the next project. So I think that's who I am. The other day we were talking with my boss and I was saying, she was laughing and said, oh, I didn't know you knew that about yourself, because we were talking and I was being introduced. And then I said, the one thing you're forgetting to tell the gentleman is that I make everything my business. So that was so funny, but yeah, that's me. I haven't made it. I'm striving towards trying to make it. It's been a long, long journey, and along the journey, I've achieved so many things, but I think I will have made it if I personally find funds and a piece of land to build a theater in one of the townships. It doesn't matter where, because yes, the theaters that are available are not available to everyone, because some people have to come to the theater. The first thing is there's no money to get there. If I get a taxi fare for 2 days, then the other 3 days I can't make it. So if one could make it in terms of finding that piece of land and finding people to chip in and build, not necessarily a huge theater, but a space for preparation, then I will have made it. Saving, yes. I've always been saving. When I had my first child, I was still at school, and the parents I lived with, my aunt and my uncle, were very strict, and I was told that you want to get pregnant, you will see to finish. So I started saving then for my daughter, and I've never stopped saving. I've been on tour with other artists and would be getting some money, and I'd be the only person who still has money to borrow everyone else. So yeah, I've always been a saver in my life. I have saved for my future, and I'm still saving. I feel we don't push enough to get what we want. As a woman in South Africa, I feel that opportunities are there, but we doubt ourselves. I feel that the stage is there. It just needs you to get onto it and perform. I feel, as a woman in South Africa, I need to take what's mine and do something. Yeah. In 2018, In 2018, I have paid for so many things. I've paid for a writer who wanted to see his work at NEF. I have paid for an artist where I felt has a calling in teaching. When the artist saw himself as just an actor, and I felt, you are a teacher as well, so I will take you to someone who will mentor you and pay for you and make sure that that person now goes all over the theaters as a voice coach, because I felt that this was something that needed to be done. In 2018, I have brought together young people who wanted to go and visit a museum and paid for them. In 2018, I have just paid for, I come from Kirkwood, I've paid for 30 sweatshirts for Sunday school children. So in 2018, I'm still going forward to see what it is that I can involve myself in. What have I conquered? I have conquered being at the Artscape Theatre Centre. When I was young, I was not allowed to walk into that building. I was never allowed to watch any plays in that building. And I promised myself that one day, I will be in this building and I will sit at the top and be one of the decision makers. That I have conquered. I have conquered academia. I left school early, and I used to be on a bus coming from Langa into town. And as you drive, it used to be Settlers Way, that's N2. But as you drive, there's a spot where the road just lifts a bit, and you see the whole of the University of Cape Town. And I used to sit in that bus and say, one day, I will walk into that building. I will go back to school. But I walked into that building as a lecturer. So I have conquered that. What I do differently in my life would be to start schooling myself. I would try and be qualified in many aspects of the arts industry. My journey was hard because I started with nothing. And it's along the way that I felt, actually, you do need to go back to school. So as a younger me, I would say, from when you start, tell yourself where your goal is and go on to that journey. Not necessarily. When I started, what was important for me was to be on stage. And it was exciting that it was created by a woman. And at the time, it didn't really have that much of an impact because too much was happening. There were too many people involved in it, for us to have singled out Fatima properly. So at the time, it was the fact that someone has written a play that we could, in the Western Cape, that we could be involved in, and a play that could tour the whole of most of South Africa. It's a strange thing. I come from a background of artists. My mother was a nurse and then a singer and back to nursing. One of my uncles was a drummer and one of my uncles was a guitarist. So I came from a background of musicians, not necessarily drama. I still have a picture of my mother on stage in a play that was created in Langa. And I used to laugh and look at this thing and saying, yeah, so many people, this funny stage and this creation and whatever. But then the bug bit me later. I was walking from a shift at St. Monica's Hospital in my nurse's uniform when I saw this banner at the Cape Town station saying actors wanted for auditions. And I'm thinking, what is audition? What do you do when you audition? And then I thought, okay, let me go and find out. And I never looked back. I loved even the audition. So when I was taken for a small role that I played so passionately, I never said a word for 11 months, just sang and screamed and ran. For me, that felt good. I could never go back. I think mostly it was the drive in me that made me change my view of the industry. When I walked into Nikomalan, because they were auditioning for a play that had a black woman in it. So I went to audition and I was told, no, you can't audition. So I thought, this is an industry that's supposed to be for everyone. Why is it a white thing? Why is it not everybody's thing? And then I felt I needed to be in a space where I am able to push through and make a difference and make sure that I do go into that space and I will perform on that stage. So it was even earlier than the Fatima Dike show that the view for me changed. I think I love challenges. I think I love the fact that you will tell me it's not going to happen and I will tell you there is another way we can do it. So I think that's what made me change my view about the industry. The industry was always portrayed as a poor industry. And believe you me, I started in 1976. There is not a year that I have never worked in the industry. Because I felt the industry, I was not qualified, I didn't go to university for it, there was no drama in our high schools, and I felt I needed to learn a lot about the industry. So I taught myself everything in the industry. I sold tea in the theater, I ushered in the theater, I was an assistant to something in the theater. For me, that meant I can work any other time in the industry, not necessarily be on stage. Oh, people don't know my real name. People don't know when was Baepi, when was Donna, but people, and it's a strange thing, the dark people call me Joyce, the lighter people call me Donna, and every time you are seen on television, your name becomes your character. So sometimes I get very cheeky about it because I fail to understand why people don't take the time to know who you are, because you'll always be, and then you are associated with what you do. White people always used to call me, are you as cheeky at home? Are you as cheeky as you are on television? I'm like, cheeky? What do you mean by cheeky? You mean that woman? Oh, no, I'm not that woman. And then you come across black people and they go, wah, something. And I'm thinking, I'm walking with my children and now I must entertain, I must make you laugh. It's strange, but I'm Donna and Joyce, those are permanent names. It's surprising that you still get those parents nowadays because so much is happening. You know, they can see that their children are doing. One young person I worked with says, this is the first time I will walk home with a paycheck. And my mother can now believe that this is a job. So to parents, I'd love to say, allow the children to experiment. You know, you are pushed to become a nurse because you're not going to pay school fees, and then you get a salary while you are there, while you're learning. But if you're not passionate about it, you won't stay, you won't sustain that. But circumstances are different. You know, I say, rather than stay and not do anything, if you are pushed to do something, do try it. You might just love it along the end. Or, I don't like to say something to fall back on. Do something, give yourself something to do. That will be another tool that you've got in your toolkit. If you don't use it, it's fine. Don't use it, but you've done it. I've done so many things. I'm telling you, I'm a certificate junkie. If I can tell you how much I've just studied that, I'm thinking, oh, that should be, oh, business management. It's good for arts. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, it's good for art. So I always try and empower myself by adding to my knowledge. If I have to get a certificate for it, I will go. I look at the local newspapers. I was being trained as a rape counselor sometime in my life because I looked and I saw, oh, at this place they're training people to be rape counselors. There's so much rape happening in our communities. Let me go and see where I can. I went and I trained. I came back with a certificate. So now when they're short of counselors, they say, are you available? So I can go. So all I'm thinking is that rather than saying I want to be a writer and if I cannot get to it, then I'm not doing anything. No, do something. Work with writers. Try and find someone who can assist, or just be there. Just carry a cup from here to there. And you know, as long as you are closer to that writer and you are listening to what people are saying. And again, parents, allow your kids to experiment. Allow them, because young people are like this. If you say no, you're actually pushing them to do what you don't want them to do. So let them experiment, let them get there, and then they'll come back to say, actually, you were right, I'm changing to this. It's still fine.